Well, here we are in sunny Barcelona, and to your left is Sarah Barrow, and to your right is Tonia Couch. Great synchro team, just finished 5th in the World Championships, which I know they're not happy about. And Sarah came 4th in the individual, and Tonia came 9th, which I know she's not happy about either, but she did qualify 2nd. So, all in all, not bad, ladies. Sum up your World Championships, please.
Yeah, slightly disappointed in the synchro with 5th place. We didn't do as well on the required dives as we normally do, but then we came back with a really good 3rd dive, one of the best we've done all year. But we did the 5th place and we qualified for the World Series, so that was really good. And then 2 days later we both went into the individual. This is my first individual at the World Championships. I went in not expecting too much. My goal was to make the final, but not disappointed if not. I made the final and then just went in there to enjoy it really. I didn't really have much pressure on me, so everybody seemed to just drop maybe one dive slightly, and I just kept going through steady, nothing special, just good steady competition.
So, pretty happy, because a lot of people say, oh, 4th, that's a terrible place to finish, isn't it? 4th, just out in the medals. But for you, you'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. There's no way I was expecting a medal, and the Ukraine diver who got the bronze did a pretty special 4th dive. So I had my lowest tower from the 4th dive, so I wasn't expecting a medal, so I'm really happy with 4th place and a personal best. Fantastic.
And Tonia?
Yes, like Sarah said, for the synchro we were a little bit disappointed, but we came 5th, which was the same as the Olympic Games, and top European, is that right? So we can't complain too much. My individual didn't go as I planned. I dived well in the prelim, made it to the semi-finals, and in the semi-finals I dived out of my skin, which is a shame it wasn't in the final, but I got a personal best score and I split the Chinese and ended up 2nd in the semis, so I was really pleased, and I think went into the final with a little bit of pressure, not from anyone but by myself, and it didn't go as I planned, and I finished 9th, which I'm absolutely gutted. But after my first dive wasn't very good, I knew I had to pull something out of the bag, so my 2nd dive went really well and started to build myself up again, and I finished on a really good dive that was worth 9. So I can go home upset but also positive that I know that I am good enough to hopefully medal one day.
Well, I mean, hang on a minute, you qualified 2nd for the final. So, okay, you didn't get the results in the final, but you've both proved you're absolute major contenders for individual medals, and obviously you're major contenders for synchro as well. So you're knocking on that door, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think if we both dived like we did, Sarah in the final and my dives that I did in the semi-final, like we do together in synchro, we definitely would have been up there in the medals. But we're going to go home, train like we did before, even harder if that's possible, and hopefully focus and do the same and get a medal in synchro next time.
And what's really good, actually, for those who don't follow diving that well, is that there really is more to British diving than, oh, what's his face? You know that lad, what's his name?
I don't know.
Tom someone. There's a lot more. I mean, it's really coming on now, isn't it? I mean, you've got an impressive squad, and there's others as well, like Jack Law and Chris Mears, and some of the girls are coming up, and you two as well. I mean, there's a lot of world-class divers now, aren't there?
Yeah, well, Tom definitely put the name on the sport, which is really good for everybody, because we do get more recognition now, which then makes us work harder, so then when we are in the limelight it's nicer to do well. But like you said, me and Tonia, we've got medals this year at world events, and Hannah and Alicia doing really well on the springboard, and obviously Jack and Chris, is so much more to come from them. So we've got a new one called Dan. He's up there with Tom now, not very experienced, but hopefully we can give him some advice.
You got a new one. The new one that's come along.
Bless him.
Yeah, in terms of, you were the first in 70 odd years to win a gold in the Europeans.
Yeah, that was in 2012. We got silver this year, which we're still really pleased about, because last year, 2012, the Russians wasn't there.
Right.
And they were there this time. They're very good. So I think we're still pleased with 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, but you're winning things. You're winning medals, Commonwealth Games. I guess that's the next big thing, is it, for you two?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for women though, because the best divers are actually in the Commonwealth. So
are they? Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty tough for us women to get that medal, but it can be done, so we'll give it our best shot.
You're both Plymouth girls, aren't you? So will you be competing for England or Devon or
England.
Plymouth?
England.
Won't be Plymouth in the Commonwealth. Won't be like Yorkshire in the Olympic Games, you know, when they had something. Because if you think about it, you two, Tom and others, you know, Plymouth could do well in the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, let's enter.
Now, obviously, you can see you're good mates, and you train together a lot, don't you? So how does that work? Because it's intense, isn't it? You're under a lot of pressure. Sometimes, you know, you get out of bed the wrong side. Do you complement each other? Do you bicker sometimes like sisters? I mean, how does it work?
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, actually, that Sarah and I were so used to living together because when we go away, we're always in the same, like, one little room all the time. And it's always fine, really, isn't it?
I think it's because we've known each other since we were about 7 years old. We did gymnastics together.
Okay.
We came from the same group and then went to diving. So I think quite deep down we know each other very well. So I know when Tonia's not so happy, and she knows when I'm not happy, and we know what to do to keep away or not to keep away and stuff like that. So I think that's why it's so easy, because we just know each other pretty well.
And so, like, when one of you, it doesn't go well, like for example in the final when you got a 9th, as gutted as you were for yourself, you must have been really chuffed for your friend as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We were watching like slow-mo replays afterwards when we were having a few interviews, and it was a nice shot of like me and Sarah hugging at the end. You know, like, obviously I'm really pleased and proud of her because she's my synchro partner. So if she does that when we do synchro, God knows what will happen.
Yeah. Now you say you've known each other since you were so, and you were both gymnasts, and that was your original dream, was it, to I don't know, be, I was going to say the next Olga Korbut, but that's a bit old, isn't it?
Yeah, we're pretty young when we started, and we finished when we were 12. So at the age of 12, we're probably not thinking about Olympic Games and stuff like that. And we weren't even British standard in gymnastics.
We did it for fun, but we worked hard at the same time, didn't we? 'Cause it was very intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went over to diving and.
You went over to the dark side.
To the dark side, and it just seemed a lot more relaxed and more fun.
How old were you when you went over to diving?
I was 10 or 11.
Okay.
When I was 10, because I dislocated my elbow.
Right.
So going back to gymnastics, I was just a little bit too afraid to go back there.
And were you the first to go? You the first to cross the Great Divide?
Yeah.
And what did Sarah say when you said,
friendship,
Sarah, I've got some big news for you. You better sit down. You better pour yourself a stiff whiskey. Oh no, you can't. You're 10.
Can't really remember.
I remember that I went over and I did gymnastics for a little while and diving at the same time. So I remember going back and doing my last competition, and I did like some kind of somersault that got mixed up in the diving as a diver, so I nearly landed on my bum. Do you remember that? Instead of my feet, I was nearly on my bum. So that was time to definitely call it a day and move over and pick what sport I wanted to do. But I remember going in and saying how much fun I had, and then these guys all went and had a little trial, and was it a week in Easter holidays, and they loved it, so they moved on over.
All right, okay. Now we mentioned Tom very quickly. You've both watched him grow up. You've grown up with him. You're both sort of what, like big sisters?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You definitely beat him up like this now.
Well, you can't anymore.
No, he beats us up.
No, but you've watched him grow. I mean, you were young. I mean, he was such a little boy when he first came on the scene.
7, I think.
And look at him now. He seems to have handled everything so well, hasn't he?
Yeah, I remember the times where we used to look after him, and I think now he looks after us, which is quite a scary thought.
Yeah, and he's got much more to do. I mean, Rio could be really exciting, couldn't it, for Tom, but for you guys as well.
Yeah, Rio will probably will definitely be our last Olympics. Obviously we've got to qualify first and all that stuff, but going there, yeah, we'll be aiming for a medal. But we've just got 3 more years to keep perfecting those dives and carry on. We're not really getting any younger. No.
Well, you're really old, you two, aren't you? And of course the Commonwealth's next year as well, which will be, I mean, it's Scotland, but it's pretty much home, isn't it? That should be good.
Yeah, well, it's going to be exciting. Like I said, it's going to be pretty tough, but got a good feeling.
Okay, well, we're going to finish off with a couple of Devon questions, okay? Pasties, Cornwall or Devon?
I don't think
You've never had a pasty?
I've had a pasty. I've had Warren's.
Aberdeen. I like Warren's.
I think that's Cornish. Yeah.
All right, Cornish or Devon cream tea? What's the difference?
I don't like tea. No, I don't like tea.
Cream tea.
Cream tea's in Scots.
Oh.
Do you come from Devon?
Cream tea's what?
Scones.
Oh.
It's one is jam then cream. One is jam and then one is cream, and the other one is cream then jam.
I like the jam ones.
Right, but
Sorry, that's not bad.
can you actually answer the question, which one is cream then jam, and the other one is jam and cream? Which one is which? You don't know, do you?
I'd have butter,
That's,
I'll have jam, no cream.
right, final thing. Can you name the bloke who played bowls on Plymouth Hoe before the Spanish Armada came?
Drake.
In Plymouth. Well, yes.
Was it? Yeah.
Yes.
History with me.
Well, there we go. You've learnt something, haven't you, out of this? All right. Well, listen. Well done. Keep it going.